SUMIF works for one condition, but what if we want to sum sales for laptop and for the month of January? That's where SUMIFS comes in. SUMIFS sums values based on multiple conditions. So in this case, we want to sum the sales. The first condition is that we are interested only in the product laptop, and the second condition is that we are interested only in the month of Jan. So our sum will be based on these two conditions. The syntax of SUMIFS is, you say SUMIFS, the first criteria is the sum range. In this case, we'll give the sales column. Next, you give the criteria range and the criteria. The criteria range tells Excel where to check, and criteria is the condition. So this is the range where we want to look, and we are looking for the product laptop. Let's see the syntax of SUMIFS. So you say SUMIFS, then it asks for sum range. Sum range tells Excel what to add. Then comes the criteria range. Criteria range tells Excel where to check, and criteria is the condition. So the first parameter in SUMIFS is the sum range. Let's see some examples now. The first example is a basic example where we give two conditions. So let's say SUMIFS, and then we will give the sum range, which is this range, because we want to add the sales. Next, we'll give the first condition. So we give the range for the first criteria, which is this, and within that range we are looking for the product laptop. This is our first criteria. Next, we give the second criteria, which is the month. So we first give the range for the second criteria, which the range is this, the values under month, and then our criteria is Jan. So this is the second criteria. So I can keep on adding multiple criterias, and you follow the same pattern. So if I had a third criteria, I could give a third criteria. So give the range and then the criteria. In this case, we are checking only for two conditions. So I'll just close this. I'll say enter. It returns 4000. So in the data, I have two entries for laptop. This is for the month of Jan, and this is for the month of Feb. 4000 is the correct answer. So what Excel does here is, in the first criteria, it checks for laptop in this range. It finds two matches. In the second criteria, it looks for the month. So out of Jan and Feb, it picks up Jan and then adds the sales, which is 4000. Next, we look at examples involving logical operators. Let's say I want to add up sales where the sales numbers are greater than 8000. In this case, I'll give the range, the sales range, because we will be adding sales. Next, we'll give the criteria. The criteria is also the same range, sales, because we are looking within sales. So again, I'll select the same range, and my criteria will be greater than 8000. So only 9000 and 12000 are greater than 8000, which was our condition. So it displays 21000. When using operators in Excel, make sure you give them in quotes. The operators must be inside quotes, else Excel will give an error. Next, we'll see how to make formulas dynamic using cell references. So let's say we go back to our previous example where we added the sales based on laptop and Jan. So in this case, instead of hard coding laptop, I can just give the cell reference. So in this case, I said E4, it will pick up the product from E4. Similarly, instead of typing the characters Jan, I can just give reference to the cell, this cell. So now in this case, Excel will pick product from E4 and one from F4. So this way you can have your values in different cells and you can reference them in the formula. In the next example, I'll just place 8000 here separately. I'll select the sales. My criteria range is also sales. Instead of saying 8000 here in the formula, I'll pick 8000 from this cell. 21,000. This is the same trick we used in SUMIF video. The same trick applies here also. Next, we'll take a look at the common mistakes that most beginners do when using the SUMIFS function. So you must pay attention to the order of the arguments. Make sure the arguments, the parameters, are in the right order. The first one is the sum range, and then it is followed by the various criteria. You must also make sure you give quotes when you are using text such as laptop and Jan, or when you are giving a logical operator such as greater than or less than some value. Make sure you give quotes. It's also important that your various range size match. So in this case, my sum range spans from I4 to I11. So make sure your criteria range, in this case the range under product and the range under month, they are also of the same size. So I4 to I11, E4 to E11, and F4 to F11. So make sure the range size matches, else you'll get a wrong value. We saw SUMIF in the earlier video, and we saw how SUMIF looks only for one condition. SUMIFS, on the other hand, checks for multiple conditions. You can check for several conditions and then do the sum. So some real life examples of SUMIFS are sales by product and month, or it can also be sales by product and region. You can sum student mark by subject and class. You can sum orders by date and product. You can sum orders above 500 in Jan. So that's all in this video. Do subscribe to our channel. It helps us produce more such videos. Thanks for watching.